I am checking out a little bit here if I'm going to be able to jump in. Welcome to a special Thursday night stream. I'm doing this just this 1 week because I had family visiting on Tuesday, and they are now home, and so I had a free Thursday instead of a Tuesday. So I thought I'd stream on Tuesday or Thursday this week instead, just so we wouldn't have to go so long without playing. But it looks like they're having a little bit of an issue with Steam. Some kind of problem going on. I'm going to make sure I am signed in to Steam. Looks like I am. So I'll go ahead and restart that. As those of you know who have Steam, of course, there's an update going on right now. Every time you log in, there's an update, and so I'm hoping restarting that will get it going. The new news this week looks like there hasn't been too much going on in the world of Lord of the Rings. They did just have a pretty big update with a lot of new things added, and now we're looking at some new characters. They're kind of starting to look ahead on a new Encounter Gundabad Awoken, which sounds really cool. Mount Gundabad, and then a new upcoming campaign, which is crazy. I haven't even played. I just have played through the first campaign. There's a second campaign I haven't even touched yet, and they're already kind of looking ahead to the third game. So it seems like they're kind of keeping pace with the regular Fantasy Flight, which has more releases than you can possibly keep up with, unless that's the only game you play ever. Then you should have maybe slight troubles keeping up instead of full terrible trouble. But they've got 3 campaigns released now, and that doesn't even include the tutorial. Or they will have 3 with this new campaign that's just released. They've got 3 encounters once these 2 new things come out. They'll have 3 new encounters, and those are pretty lengthy quests, one-off quests. Alright, I think I got everything started back up okay. So, we have been taking a look in the Lord of the Rings game. We kind of went back to the beginning because so much has changed since the tutorial, or, since the game has been out in early release. We took a look at the tutorial to start with when I first started playing this game, but now at this point, it's really become a fully fledged quest, really, a set of quests, campaign, if you will. So, I actually have been kind of taking a look at the different elements of this throughout the past couple weeks. First, we looked at the basic quest, which pretty much taught you um, the core concepts. Then next, we went on to checking out Quest 2, which was a little bit more advanced concepts. This is where they brought in the idea of defending, guarding, all of that kind of thing. And by the way, those VODs I have not put on YouTube yet. I know some people have asked me to make sure they get on there. That's one of the few ways that they watch it. Is they like to go back and or they watch it on their own time and be able to pause it. So I'll be getting those updated. I know I'm several behind. I may be 4 or 5 behind. I've got to get those on there. I'm going to work on that in the next couple of days, and those will be on there. So you can check out those, Prelude 1, Prelude 2. They teach you some really cool aspects. And every one you play, you have a different deck. You're kind of locked into certain decks, but it's pretty cool because playing them unlocks decks that you can then use in other campaigns, which I think is a really awesome reward. I don't always like building my own deck. I do it. It's a pretty fun part of the game, but sometimes it's fun to jump in and see, kind of spice things up and see what other kind of deck building possibilities there are out there. And so there are some deck rewards for some of these. So next we're ready for Prelude 3 nuanced concepts. So we learned the advanced concepts. Now we're going to be learning the nuance of the game. We're going to be exploring some nuance and complex concepts. I'm interested to see if there's anything that I haven't figured out yet as I've been playing. Maybe they have some concepts that are similar, but they just call them different things. But I'm really excited because this might be something new for me. Note, if you do play the tutorial, you cannot save in the middle of it. They did add a save feature for quests, which is really cool because some of the quests are really long, especially the encounters. But there is no save feature during the tutorial, which is okay. Most of the quests so far have been 2 stages, so they're not really difficult. So let's go ahead and jump in. We've got a new deck here. Looks like we've got Bilbo and a couple of elves. And there is a story that's kind of been continuing.
Bilbo's sting is a mighty weapon!
Glowing roared.
We must recover it. Let us search back along the trail.
Master Glowing is correct.
Arwen said, then paused to look from Bilbo to the dwarves.
And speed is of the utmost importance. But Rociel knows these woods best, and she and I are blessed with the eyes of the elves. We will find the sword and pack.
We'll not leave these woods without Sting.
Bilbo exclaimed in an urgent whisper, so as to not draw the attention of any nearby creatures.
And I will not abandon Bilbo.
Glowing added. Taken aback, Arwen offered a compromise.
Rociel and I will take up this task with Bilbo. But poor dwarf, I request most humbly as Lady of Rivendell that you first carry word to Bjorn and then return.
Glowing grumbled to himself a moment. Though not pleased, he understood the import of her request.
I will do as you ask. Reluctantly.
Arwen bowed in thanks to the dwarves, and with Rociel, made off with Bilbo.
So we got a little bit of a cast change.
I take comfort in your companionship, friend elves.
It is
We-
an honor to accompany the great Bilbo Baggins of the Shire. Let us hurry to find your lost blade, then return you to the safety of Bjorn's hall.
We did learn about the threat and the fate meters last game, so we've got those going. It looks like here I've got 2 lore heroes in this quest. This will give us access to certain lore cards that we normally wouldn't be able to use. So yeah, the level 2 lore cards would only be available if you have 2 lore characters, and there are even level 3 skill. I guess they're different kinds of cards. They're level 3 cards, which would only be available if you have all 3 heroes as lore characters. So we'll be looking at those this quest, I guess. Previous quests have shown how ally and event cards work. Now you have access to additional card types, attachments, and event preparations. Okay, so that's one of the nuanced things, are these additional card types. Let's look at each one now. So the goal of this stage of the quest is to defeat 5 spider units or defeat every enemy that's in play currently. Okay. Upkeep phase. We'll start with attachments. I'm going to play Bilbo's Cloak. If we take a look at that, the attachments, each character can have one of 4 types of attachments. They can have 1 special, 1 weapon, 1 armor, and 1 head, I believe. I'm trying to take a look, but it won't let me. But there are 4 basic attachments that they can have. Maybe it's only 3 now that I'm thinking about it. And then the 4th is a Sauron attachment that can be played. But this will be the special attachment slot. It wants us to play Bilbo's Cloak on Bilbo. Every upkeep, Sauron gains 1 less resource, and only hobbits can equip it. So if I play that, obviously Bilbo's going to be the only one I can give it to. So starting next upkeep, I will have that attached, and he'll be getting less upkeep. An attachment is a card type representing armor, weapons, and special abilities. Yeah, so there are only 3. Armor, weapons, special abilities. Characters can be equipped with 1 of each. Whenever you see a gem at the top of a hero or a creature, that means that has an attachment, and you can always click it to see what it does. You can right click on Bilbo to see his attachments. Yeah, you got a weapon slot, an armor slot, a special slot, and then a slot for Sauron. Oh, looks like they got to fill in some of these. Special slot for Sauron attachments that can be played, which are always bad. You can easily see whichever one has the image in it. That's the one. That's the slot that's been filled. And you can always hover over it to see what its ability is. Alright, so Sauron attacked me for 1 damage. Now we're going to check out preparation cards. Preparation cards are cool cards that kind of, you play them and they go into hiding. Sauron doesn't know what they are. He only knows that you played a preparation card. He doesn't know what it is. And when that happens, it triggers on Sauron doing something. So, advanced warning triggers whenever Sauron plays an enemy, and it exhausts that enemy, which means they can't act that turn. So I play that, and what happens is it brings a little pip down here on the bottom. It only triggers if he plays an enemy, but this card is prepared for the whole game. So if he waits until the very end of the whole game and doesn't play an enemy till the last round, it will then wait for him to trigger it. But until it's triggered, it's hidden from view. Although I can look at it any time. So I can just click on the little pip and it will show me. So likewise, you can just see that he just played a treachery card, which has become a little pip on his dial here. And I can't see what it is. I just know that he has something prepared. I don't know whether it's going to happen when I do something as an action or play a card. It just depends. They lie in wait, so it adds a little bit of tension. Alright, so I have no resources left. No cards can be played. Okay, interesting. Spirit Helper here. Haven't seen some of these cards. Looks like both of them are pretty good defenders, which is cool. Alright, so all of my characters can act. What's really cool is if I use Bilbo's power at this point, I can steal resources from him, which will allow me to play more cards and take away his ability to play cards. What does recover mean? Power, recover one of your non-unique allies. Alright, well, we'll probably find out what that means. So I'm going to go ahead and have Bilbo... Well, okay, so I'm pretty sure I know that this guy is going to attack. But I still think it's worth it to play my power. And I steal 1 to 3 resources. Okay, so I stole 2. Pretty good amount. Now he's going to attack again. But I can now get someone out to protect that from now till the future.
Those with the power for good.
Auto guard. After you play a card, discard 1 random card from my hand. Okay, so I lost my ability to draw more cards, but that's okay. You can always review what's been played in the history. You can just kind of look through the different cards that have been played and get more information about them. And you can always hide it and bring it up. Okay. So now this card came out with guard on, and so it took the last hit, and it didn't take away its action, so it can still go, which is pretty cool. Now the question is, do I want to try to gain... Ooh, I can summon Gloin. So I can definitely spend some time adding Fate, or I could try to kill someone. I think it might be worth it to summon Gloin. And then I'll have some extra attack power. Alright, so Sauron's played another treachery. I'm going to summon Gloin in.
We do not escape the shadows of these times.
Units with the summon icon aren't played directly. Instead, they appear from the result of a triggering effect. Summon units are exempt from enters play effects like it. Okay. So basically, if they are summoned, which means they've got this little bugle symbol, they can't be affected by some of Sauron's cards when they come into play, which is kind of nice. Like, I believe there's a card that exhausts in allies when they come into play, and I think that that would mean that because he was summoned, he can't be. Alright, so now I've got some help with attacking. Gloin could take someone out by himself.
Gloin, at your service.
Okay, so that's one spider unit. We need 3 to win. Or to be able to get past this stage. I could take out the second spider unit, but I also could go after Sting. I'm going to go ahead and do that with Rossiel. I could give it to Rossiel, because then she would get a huge attack. I think that might be worth it. I don't want her to die, but... so I have to discard my other... That was the other treachery, is I had to discard cards from my hand. So now Rossiel's going to be able to take out the other enemy. Oh, I could have attacked the guy with 3 because of the sword. Yeah, so that was a dumb move. If I had attacked the bigger guy, I would have killed him because the Sting gives a bonus against spiders. It always helps to make sure you read the cards, like it's telling me.
Those with the power for good are on the watch.
And of course the glossary is available to help me. I want to know what recover means, so I'm going to go down. Card goes back into your hand. Okay, so that means that I could actually use Rossiel to recover a card from my discard pile if I lose an ally, for example. But yeah, that glossary is really handy if you forget what a term means. Of course, it has to be a non-unique ally, so I'm going to heal the Protector because she definitely needs... And she has Guard, which is interesting. Oh, she starts the round with Guard. Okay. So every round she's going to have Guard at the start of her turn, which is great because the spider should kill that last spider. Every quest you start with 30 cards, and you can see that readout at any time how many cards you have left by hovering over it. If you draw all of your cards before the end of the quest, you use basically what you have left on the board, or available at your fate meter, and that's it. You don't get anything else. Some cards are tailored to specific spheres as indicated by the sphere level. So down here in the bottom of this card, you see how it says lore, the lore symbol +2. That means that it's level 2, which means you need to have 2 lore heroes in your deck to be able to even have this guy in your deck. If it says 3, then you would need to have all 3 heroes being lore. It's pretty crazy. I don't really see how you could very easily do an all one sphere deck without multiplayer. But probably when the card pool comes out and gets a little bit better. Although I will say, it has been very cool to do a Spore lore deck with Jofo's, my multiplayer deck, and not really have any trouble taking my share of enemies. So this guy's a great lore protector, for example. He would be great to have in a Spore deck, because he's got guard. He's got a good amount of hit points. I'm going to go ahead and bring him out. He's the only card I'm getting, so I might as well play him now. Now I've got 2 guys guarding. And of course he'll attack the guy that won't kill him. So now I do want to restore 3 health to a character and then ready them. No one is missing 3 health. Bilbo's missing 2. So for now, I don't necessarily need to... I'm going to go ahead and take away his ability to play. Let me give myself some extra resources. Yeah, so I got another 2. I don't have any cards to play, but it's great because now he has less than he can do. I think he passed, right? I believe he passed because his resource number is grayed out. And his cards, so I think that usually indicates if I'm remembering everything correctly. Hopefully I am. So that means I can kind of take my... So I definitely want to have him attack because he can't do any fate meter. Okay, so this is the 3rd enemy. I can now travel to avoid the looming threat, which we talked about last time. Basically, it's a way for the game to keep you from lingering and just trying to build up your hand, build up your army, get all the fate built up. It's, you know, a lot of people camp that first quest so that stage takes forever, and then once you just roll through really easily the other ones. Which I'm going to kind of do, because I don't... If you travel, it tends to reset the round. So you definitely want to make sure, before you travel in this game, make sure you pump the fate meter up as much as you can. I don't want to use the hardy metal yet because it's not location specific, so it's going to go to the next round with me. So I'm going to wait till somebody's got 3 hits on them or more. We'll travel to the next stage.
Sensing the imminent arrival of yet more spiders, Arwen stood closer to Bilbo. A click, click, clicking echoed in the darkness, indicating many legs and mandibles approaching. She worried that she and Rossiel could not alone provide the protection they had promised if they tarried much longer.
I fear that we may not locate your pack, friend Hobbit,
She whispered.
Perhaps it is time we retired to the safety of Bjorn's Hall for the night. We can resume our search tomorrow in the light of day.
Spiders closed in all around, some skittering along the leaf-strewn forest floor, while others dropped from the gnarled branches above. At the edge of their vision, a great spider menaced them, much larger than the rest. Was it directing the others? If so, for what purpose? Bilbo swallowed hard, feeling fear, despite the reassurance he felt from his companions.
I think you are correct.
He chuckled, a forced mirth he did not feel.
Let us depart this place presently.
Okay.
Be wary, Bilbo. These spiders are in a contentious mood.
Alright, so just like the other tutorial quest, this looks to be the last. It'll always tell you when you're on the last stage. So I can heal someone. I'll heal my guard. So I can give someone Stalwart. Basically gives a unit 1 extra action every round, which is pretty amazing. And it's the only card I got, so I should probably go ahead and play it. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of spiders coming out, so it might be a good idea for me to play this on my guard here. I'm really beefing her up, even though she's just a regular ally, she can still do a lot of damage. Okay. It's interesting that It's interesting that Sting is not doing 3 damage. It should have been doing 3 damage instead of 2, but maybe it only happens when you attack. So I'll take out the spiders.
Those with the power for good.
Okay. And of course, remember my advanced warning card I played automatically exhausts the next enemy that comes in play. So he spent a lot of money bringing in a big spider that's not going to be able to do anything. I'm going to go ahead and use my power to
Takes me back to my
steal
old
some
days
money.
as a burglar.
So he's pretty limited on what he can play. Okay, so he just gave an attachment to this spider, which gives him block. So he'll basically be every damage is reduced by 1. So basically, it's useless to attack with guys that do 1 damage, and I need to try to attack with people that do much more than just 1 damage. A character can only... Oh, okay, so... Yeah, enemies can have 3 attachments, up to 3 attachments, so that's something to keep in mind. He can put 3 shadow attachments on his enemies, which often give him things like block, or extra health, or extra attack. And then we can also play attachments on enemies as well. 1 per enemy, just like he can only play 1 on his enemies, which is me. You can always right-click or click on the gem to see what the attachment does. You can also see it added a little frame here. This little base looks a little bit wider. That lets me know that this guy has block. I still don't want to use my fate yet. Nobody is missing 3 hit points. I can escape the gloom. Apply 1 progress to escape the gloom for each hazard resolved. Okay. So I definitely want to get rid of some of these hazards. They're going to be causing me a lot of headaches. Every ally that comes will be exhausted. Exhaust a random ally. 1 fate for every unwounded enemy. And then an extra resource for Sauron. So these last 2 are pretty not that great. Oh, okay, so locked, I'm assuming means that I can't quest this objective. So that means the only way I can beat this is by destroying these hazards first. So I can't even work on this one. These left 2 hazards here are not really going to be that bad because all the enemies will be wounded. He's not going to be able to play anything else. He'll be able to get a resource next round, but that's not that big of a deal. I don't want him to exhaust any allies. So I really want to get rid of these right 2 first. So this guy definitely should just attack, because he doesn't have any willpower. So I'll get rid of that enemy. I definitely need to have her attack the spider, because he has block. He only takes 2 damage, but the nice thing is that it keeps this, it keeps massing for an attack from triggering. So I won't get any threat. There aren't any unwounded enemies. And I think with everybody else, I could just work on hazards. So I definitely want to work on this one. Yeah, and so the progress on the main objective is going away. And I'll start working on this next one. Won't be able to completely finish. I don't think I'll use my meal yet. Alright, so we'll go to the new round. So I get to heal someone. I'll heal my guard. And we got the great Gandalf coming in. So cards with fleeting, like for example Gandalf, basically means that you get them for the round. They're very expensive like Gandalf usually, but they do something really game-changing. But they'll leave at the end of the round, which kind of sucks. But Gandalf is worth it. I've got so many resources right now, it's going to be worth it to play. Some cards require you to choose from several options. You'll have to make the decision once you play them. So, for example, if you play Gandalf, when he comes in, you either draw 3 cards, deal 3 damage, or lose 3 threat. I like the idea of drawing cards because I've got a lot of resources and I don't have anything to play. I could deal 3 damage, but I've got the monsters under control, and I could lose threat, but I'm not really worried about summoning a giant spider and nothing happens for a long time. That's not even going to happen for 2 more threat. So I'm not too worried about anything right now. This guy is going to die if he attacks one of my guards. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with taking some resources from him.
Back to my old days as a burglar.
Do some burgling. Now, unfortunately, I only took 1 that time. So he's down to 1. I'll go ahead and have my... Well, well, let's see what we get when we get cards out. So I'm going to draw 3 cards. Oh, this is a different interface. It used to bring up a bigger interface to make a choice. But I like that they did this because now I can kind of look at what's on the board and help me make my decision. Whereas when the cards came up that were zoomed in, the card choices, it was really hard because I couldn't remember what the board looked like. But I am going to draw 3 cards. Lots of healing. Okay, we got some bats, but I got them guarded. I am going to play Advance Warning to get some more, in case he plays another enemy. It'll be exhausted when it comes out. Oh, and those were the bats that summon, when they die, they summon another set of bats. So now I've got to figure out, okay, so I'm going to have Gloin guard. Just so they'll go away. I definitely want to get rid of that extra resources for him. So I'm going to do that first.
For Rivendell!
So I'm only two hazards away from winning the game. I could do that this round, actually, if I just dedicate everything. It looks like he passed. So I'm going to use my first...
Those with the power for good.
Remember, she has Stalwart, so she gets to go twice. The first was to finish off the spider. So I really don't have to worry about this unwounded enemy.
Those with the power for good.
I am going to bring Bilbo back and heal him up, because that will let me finish the quest. Oh, spiders swarm all around, creating a wall of bulbous bodies. Try as you might, you cannot prevent them from taking Bilbo. One moment he's fighting beside you, the next he's engulfed in webs and spirited away to what fate you cannot dare not imagine. So basically this quest seems to be ending the way that the quest ended in the original tutorial, so that it ties in easily with quest 1 of the main quest, of the real quest, which is... Hey Joe, thanks for making it. I just finished the 3rd tutorial. Bilbo gets captured, so that kind of serves as a good beginning to the actual first campaign.
The onslaught of the spiders finally paused, but only for a moment, as they sought to regroup. In the confusion of the melee, the companions had become separated, though each was fully aware of the calamity of Bilbo's capture. The spiders seemed to coordinate their attack with a purpose, and the abduction of Bilbo was not mere happenstance. They must have wanted the aging hobbit for some purpose only they could understand. Dark as this event was, there was one glimmer of hope, in that they clearly wanted him alive, and that meant he could be rescued. If only the companions could gather again at Bjorn's Hall and then stage a rescue. But the lull in the battle was over, and the spiders were gathering once again in greater numbers. The first task was simply survival. Only then could a rescue be attempted.
All right. So they got a new quest reward screen, which is really cool. They're using that Palantir, the old Palantir animation, which looks really cool. And like I said earlier, there are some really cool rewards, like decks, Shadow's Reach deck, that can then, I'm assuming, be used for future questing. All right. So we made it through the first 3 quests. It's interesting because it doesn't seem like the last 2 have anything to do with the story, because we jumped from Bilbo getting captured there. So I'm thinking maybe the 5th one does a little bit. You got to get back to Bjorn's Hall, where you can stage a rescue, which is the start of the first campaign, the Shadow's Reach. So looks like this 4th might be a little bit of an interlude. It's going to walk us through how to create and customize decks for use on your adventures, which is pretty cool. Let's take a look at that.
Welcome to the deck building tutorial. Here, we'll walk you through the basics of creating an effective deck for playing. In the process, you'll be able to create a unique deck and save it for use later.
Yes.
Let's get started.
Let's do that. So we're going to switch to the Deck Builder tab. This is what you'll see if you go into the Deck Builder, or the... I think this might be the Vault. But when you're in here, you'll be able to click the Deck Builder. Then you're going to create a new deck. As you can see, I have my menu here of the decks I've created already. You're going to start with a name. We'll name it Toots for tutorial. Toots deck. Well, let's do something a little bit more serious, shall we? I'm going to try to create something. I'm going to try to create. I'm going to try to create a leadership hustle deck so that you can quickly overwhelm quests. And I'm only going to use leadership heroes. Let's see if I can do that. I'm not sure if I can with this tutorial or not. When you create a new deck, you must first choose your 3 heroes. We'll use Aragorn. Okay, so I'm not going to get to do what I wanted to do. We're going to use Aragorn, Arwen, and Gimli for this deck, since they're good beginner-friendly heroes.
If by life or death I can save you, I will.
So you can either left-click on a card or drag it over to add it to your deck. And all of your deck is going to be here in this navigation window on the right. Wait, Arwen, right? Yeah. Okay, so basically what I've done is choosing the heroes is the hardest part, and it's really the thing you want to start with. Because once you have your heroes chosen, that's going to determine all the cards that you're going to use from that point forward. Because as I said earlier, if you don't have a certain color or sphere, however you want to say it, you can't use cards of that same color or sphere in your deck. So if I hadn't chosen Aragorn, if I'd chosen another tactics or lore person, or even a spirit person, I wouldn't be able to use leadership cards in my deck. But as of right now, I have 3 different types of spheres cards to choose from. I've got leadership because of Aragorn, tactics because of Gimli, and lore because of Arwen. So I have a lot of cards to choose from. It looks like we've got 6 pages of cards. And I'm going to use those to make my 30-card deck. So remember, everybody has to make a 30-card deck. You can't make a deck that's less or more, which is interesting. That it's different than other types of deck building games. These on the left here, you'll see kind of some filters you can deselect or select. Um, we're going to be looking at allies first, so we're going to filter that to look just for allies. So I'm going to deselect all and choose just allies. If I'd wanted to, I could have chosen weapons, or I'm assuming attachments, or what's the other? Events, I think. Alright, so it wants me to choose Galadon Archer as a nice low-cost ally that offers reliable damage with its arrival effect. Yeah, it does damage when it comes in. So I'm going to add some of those. Now, the trick with building decks is you can add one card, or you can add two if you want to add a card. So I've added one. Looks like they might want me to add both. Nope. Okay. Oh, it looks like I'm hovering over different cards here. The Guard makes the Guard of Citadel a useful defensive ally. Let's add it. Imladr's Caregiver is a useful support ally that has a good rival effect and good willpower for engaging objectives. So when he's not healing, he can be questing. Gandalf is an excellent ally with strong overall ability scores and a versatile arrival effect. You notice that he's gray, whereas all of the other banners match the color of the sphere that they belong to. Gandalf is neutral, so he's gray for a reason. You can basically put him in any deck. We're going to go to the next page, look at some more allies. Rohirrim Lancers, ranged keyword and decent attack make for a solid ally, so we're going to add him. We're definitely not adding extra, we're just kind of going around and adding a bunch of different ones. That's good to have a little variety. Veteran Axehand is a reliable overall combat ally with good survivability, so we'll click and add him. So we've got some allies added. Now we're going to focus on event cards. So I'm deselecting ally and selecting event. So now I can look at just the events card. Advanced Warning Preparation Effect, as I played in the last game, is a great card because you can exhaust an enemy when it comes out. So I'm going to add that to my deck. Common Cause is great because oh, okay, so it lets you exhaust an ally that's less useful to give a stronger character like my heroes an extra action. And it's a pretty good card. Then we're going to move on to the next page. Favor of the Valar. -3 if the threat meter would reach maximum. So just as you're about to die because your fate's above 50, we'll give you a little bit more time. It'll reduce it by 3. That's a good one. Mithrandir's Advice. Draw 2 cards. That's a good one. As you saw earlier, I ran out of cards, and so it was nice to be able to get some back with Gandalf. Sneak Attack lets you summon a random ally, but that ally is fleeting, so they'll only be there that one round. Oh, they want me to take 2, because this will be very useful. Now you notice, once you add 2, you can't add a second one, and it lists how many of each card type you have here on the right. So everything in Sneak Attack is grayed out. Alright, so they don't want me to have Favor of the Valor anymore. They feel like I'm doing okay without it, or I'll do okay without it. So you can left click to take it out or slide it out. Click and drag. Now I'm going to be looking at attachments. When you have Gimli or any dwarf in your fellowship, a dwarven axe is an excellent value for the attack bonus it provides. Yeah, definitely for dwarves. Round shields are great because they give any character block, so they can basically survive a lot longer. Self-preservation, every upkeep you get to restore health, so it's pretty amazing. Look at the next page. Warrior Sword gives you a little bit of extra damage. And it's 0 cost, which is pretty awesome. So you'll notice I'm about halfway through my deck. Down in here at the bottom you can see your deck count at any time. Oh, it wants me to do the rest of my deck. Okay. Well, I do have some other dwarves. So I'm going to put in a second dwarven axe. And a second self-preservation. I guess I'll have a lot of armored and weaponed heroes. Event-wise, did we miss anything? Bjorn's hospitality is pretty good if I have a full army, so I might, yeah, I'll put one of those in. Dunedain gift, +1 health, and gain stealth this round. Oh, that's an event, though. I'm gonna take a little extra resources and card draw. So let's go back to the allies. I do like to have 2 Gandalfs in because of the fact that you never know. He may be in the bottom of your deck, so it's always nice to have another card draw. I do like taking Guards of the Citadel. They're pretty amazing. Erebor Watchmen are also great for the cost. They're great guardians. I do like the Warden of Onumanias. So you can also, what I like about the deck list here is it puts it in order of cost. So you can really see where you're at as far as your spread. I have 3 0-cost cards, a lot of 1-cost cards, everything else, which is what I like. I like to see the 2 cards that cost 2, cards that cost 3 and above. I like to see those in a smaller proportion compared to the rest. I do like the idea of being able to beef up. Man, I didn't see this guy before. So you can basically beef up a character's willpower. It's great for those times when you have a lot of attack power, but you don't need it. You just need to complete quests or something. So I'll grab one of him. Grab another axe hand, a Men of Dale, so I have some range. I haven't. Have I taken over here on Lancer? Okay, I have. I still have another Erebor Watchman. So that's my 30. Whew. So that was pretty quick. I'm not necessarily thinking it's going to be great, but I've created my deck. I'll go ahead and save it. Don't forget to save your deck.
You've learned much during these Prelude quests so far. In the next quest, Flight Through Darkness, you can enjoy the standard quest experience for the first time. Each quest has 3 playstyles to choose from. Each style determines overall difficulty and features different styles of play. The first time you play Flight Through Darkness, you'll be restricted to narrative playstyle. After that, you can pick the playstyle you enjoy best. We recommend trying each style to see which suits you best. The different playstyles are narrative, for casual players who want to enjoy each story at a lower difficulty level. In a narrative game, during upkeep, you gain 3 resources and draw 2 cards per round, while Sauron gains 3 resources and draws a full hand. Adventure. This style offers more difficulty, with an even combat balance. In an adventure game, during upkeep, you gain 3 resources and draw 1 card per round, while Sauron gains 4 resources and draws a full hand. Challenge. For players who feel they know the game inside and out and wish to prove their skills. In a challenge game, during upkeep you gain 3 resources and draw 1 card per round, while Sauron gains 5 resources and draws a full hand.
Okay, so they definitely are letting us, with this last quest, try out the full features, including choosing difficulty.
In addition to selecting your playstyle, you'll also get to choose which deck you will use on your quest.
Cool.
Simply select the current deck in order to examine its contents, or choose a different deck. Make sure to choose carefully, as the right mix of heroes and cards can greatly increase your chance of success. Likewise, a bad interaction between heroes in your deck might lead to ruin. If you decide that none of your current decks meets your expectations, you can return to the decks menu at any time to edit an existing deck or construct an all-new deck. Good luck, and may fortune smile upon your fellowships as they stand against the forces of Sauron.
Alright. So I guess I'll go ahead and finish out tonight by choosing the deck. I'm going to go ahead and pick the deck I just made just to test it out. Oh, but interesting, you don't get to choose, it looks like, in tutorial. At least as of right now, I can only play narrative. So, pre-belt. And this is cool. I could use the decks that they gave me as rewards, which is kind of cool. But I am going to use my leadership puzzle I just made. But unfortunately, I don't get to choose a different playstyle. I'm only playing narrative, which isn't too bad. It'll kind of help me speed through it.
The festive mood in Bjorn's hall is broken when Glowin and Gimli burst in. At first, the celebrants laugh at the news that Bilbo has lost his pack, but sober up when Glowin growls,
There's nothing funny about spiders on the move in Mirkwood.
As Glowin departs to rejoin his friend, some revelers share a look. He's right. A threat from Mirkwood isn't to be taken lightly. The adventurers agree to lend their aid, but by the time they gather, the impatient old dwarf has already departed. Undeterred, the Fellowship heads up the Old Forest Road. Precious minutes pass with no sign of any disturbance. Then, as doubts begin to creep in, the sounds of violence just off the trail. Rushing forward, the adventurers see a mass of spiders close in on Glowin, who shouts to you that Bilbo is taken. The spiders of Mirkwood seem driven onward by some dark intelligence. Alas, what began as an attempt to aid Bilbo is now a fight for survival.
I am Aragorn, son of Arathorn.
I shall claim full amends for every fall and stubbed toe.
For Rivendell!
We do not escape the shadows of these times.
Alright, so I get to select my starting hand. I don't need healing right now. You can always choose not to get rid of anything if you don't want to. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Men of Dale. I'm hoping to get some more... something different. Any card you don't pick, or kind of put to the background, basically gets replaced with another card, randomly drawn. Alright, so I got another Man of Dale and a sword. That's good. So I need to rescue Gloin. He's gotten overwhelmed. We need to rescue him before he gets overwhelmed. Defeat 4 spider units or defeat every enemy in play. Gloin must survive. Okay, so he's on my... I do get to play with him on my team. I got to defeat 4 spider units or every enemy in play. Okay, so my turn. I'm going to go ahead and drop a guard down immediately. Try to overwhelm with numbers. So he'll take the first hit. Trying to keep my heroes and Gloin from getting hit very much, if at all. Gloin now has gotten +1 attack because of the fact that he is... a character has taken damage. So I could have him block the first attack. I think I might do that. And he'll still get to do his 3 damage. Yeah, presumably to that spider. So now... Aragorn can take care of... Nope, Gloin can take care of the last spider that hasn't gone yet.
Shadows of these times.
Alright, so now I only have to defeat 2 more spider units. Oof, we got a big guy out here now. I could have my guard take that, but man, I don't want him to go out this soon. But you know what? Unfortunately, that might be his destiny.
I serve the steward of Gondor.
So I can summon an Elven Scout with 6 fate. Definitely want to get the resources flowing. If I sneak attack, I can still get my Erebor Watchman out. Alright, let's see what this does.
You won't cross my lands.
Ooh! Cool. Huh. Okay, well unfortunately they're fleeting though, so they'll be leaving. But I can do some good damage with this. So we'll have Grip take care of that. Erebor Watchman's gonna come out.
Taking by surprise. The king under the mountain.
Now you might be wondering why I'm attacking the guy that does less damage. Well, because I could technically travel at this point. Oh, Oh, okay, so it was going down, so I have to defeat one more spider. Okay. Well, that's kind of stinks. I could play a warrior sword on Aragorn and be able to finish this guy off. Yeah, we'll do that.
If by life or death I can save you, I will.
So I didn't get to bring out the Elven Scout, but I think I've got a full army anyway right now. I could travel. I mean, I might as well because, yeah, I'll travel. Yeah, thanks. I know, that was cool. I like that sneak attack guy. Okay, something is stalking you. Return to Bjorn's Hall, back the way you came along the Old Forest Road, or find another route, perhaps safely through the woods. Whew. So I'll have to play this quest twice so I can see both. So I'll choose to come back the way you came, along the Old Forest Road.
With the threat of the spiders momentarily abated, you stopped to catch your breath. When you entered the woods, you had no clear plan, and with the news of Bilbo's abduction, it is clear that you should now return to the hall and organize a proper expedition before attempting a rescue. You prepare to embark on this course of action when you hear the nearby howl of wolves. First spiders, and now wolves, as the whole of Mirkwood risen up against you. Spurred on by the new danger, you hurry down the path. With a pack chasing after you, you decide it may be best to cover your tracks and throw them off your scent if possible.
Cover your tracks to lose the pursuing creatures on your tail. Glowing must continue to survive. Huh, this is interesting. Oh, so I guess I get to keep the hound. That's kind of cool. And if you'll notice, when I clicked on him, he has a revenge ability. So even though the farmer left, I get to keep the hound, and if he dies, one of my characters gets +1 attack, which is pretty awesome. So I'm going to heal Gimli. Okay. Looks like we've got... These guys have to be killed, otherwise they pursue me to the next stage of the quest. Oof. Pack of Wargs. Pursuit and upkeep +1 to the pack of wargs. So they gain health every round. Wow. And I've got to shake off pursuit by using clever woodcraft. restriction pursuit enemy is in play. So I'm assuming what that means is I can't cover my tracks until I get rid of these enemies that have pursuit. Okay, so I've got to set up some good block here. Well, obviously I think I need to have him block first, which is sad, but, you know, it gives me +1 on a character. Oh, I guess that was a random character? Interesting. Let me take a look at that card here, if I can find it. I guess I can't go back to the previous... Oh. Farmer. Wish I could go back a little ways. Oh, okay. Revenge, yeah, it is a random character. Okay, so when Grip died, he gives +1 to a random character. I think he gave it to the Watchman here, who also has block. He's my natural next Guardian, because he's going to take 1 less damage and do 2 damage, which is nice. So now I only have to deal with 1 attack so far. I'm going to give Gimli... I'm going to give Gloin a shield. Oh, but he can't guard. Ugh. I guess, okay, I'm going to give Gimli a shield so he can block. So he'll be my second line of defense. Alright, so Arwen got hit. Not too bad. I'm still waiting to see what he's going to play this round, card-wise. I could bring Man of Dale out. Or I could save for Gandalf. I can remove Pursuit if I build up Fate, which I may do this round. Let's go ahead and bring out Man of Dale.
The hour is at hand.
Save Gandalf a little bit. Vicious Ward. +1 versus a wounded target. Ugh. Okay, so Gimli now does need to guard. He's got his shield, so he'll take 1 less damage, and I think he'll kill this Vicious Ward. Yeah. Fortunately, he did extra damage because Gimli was already wounded, but we'll get him healed back up. Alright. So Aragorn definitely needs to attack. He's got a huge amount of damage he can do right now.
If by life or death I can save you, I will.
Okay, Sauron's passed.
We do not escape the
We'll get rid of this heavy hitter here. And then Arwen can add some Fate. Ranger's Cash gives me +2 to each player. Might be worth getting so I can play Gandalf next round. I think I'll do that. I could bring Aragorn back and have him attack again, but I do want to have the opportunity to bring Gimli back, or Gandalf out, so I'm going to go ahead and end the round. So she can heal someone. Better heal Gimli. Well, I'm going to keep my Airborne Watchman healed up, because he's got a great amount of damage. I'll start off with him guarding, and he'll kill the... I don't want to waste Gimli on these bats. I can't have Gloin defend. I can have the Men of Dale defend. And so he's out of enemies. This fate event is really not useful anymore. Pursuit location from every enemy in play. I'd rather get the Elven Scout out, but that's going to take a little while. I'll have her apply fate so we can see what he's bringing out. Reduce every ally to 0 willpower, so I can't do any more fate or questing except with my 2 heroes. I don't really want to bring out Gandalf right now. I am going to heal everybody. Deal 1 damage to every exhausted character. Great. Yeah, I'm going to wait and bring Gandalf out until later. Okay, so Sauron finally passed. I'm going to go ahead and... pump up the fate. And then have Gimli apply. Alright, I'm going to heal Gimli.
For Rivendell!
Alright, so I can travel now, finally. He's playing a treachery. I'm trying to figure out if he's going to get to do anything. Like if he's going to get to play the rest of the round. I'm going to travel. Let's see what happens. Yeah, okay, so I just go on.
Pursuing pack and can soon make out the lights of Bjorn's horde in the distance. Your sense of danger ebbs for the moment, with thoughts of food, drink, and a warm fire sustaining you as you plan a proper rescue of Bilbo. Abruptly, the distant lights disappear as you hear the onrush of many tiny wings and the screech of bats. First spiders, then wolves, and now bats? Truly, Mirkwood is filled with dangers this night. As the cacophonous mass approaches, you see one huge bat, larger than the others, leading them on. All that stands between you and safety is this last giant menace and its attendant colony.
A bat boss, that's cool. Final encounter. So 3-stage quest, looks like. I've got to defeat the giant bat. Gloin must survive. Flying stalwart, vanquish, restore full health to giant bat. Okay, so if I kill him, he comes back and I have to kill him again. I'm assuming that's what that means. Alright, I get to heal someone. I'll heal Arwen. Okay. And what I was afraid of last round is if I traveled, I was afraid that he would get to play his last 2 resources, but they just carried over and we started a new round. Whereas if he had enemies out, they would get to attack, which would kind of suck. Exhaust giant bat. So I could exhaust the giant bat if I wanted to. But I have to apply 2 more fate. Okay, so I'm going to have Erebor block first, because he has block. That gives Gimli 3 damage. so that when I have him block next, he should kill pretty much anything. Oh, except for the big bat. Okay, but he does have Stalwart, so he does get to go a second time. So Aragorn should really block next, because he'll do a full 3 damage as well. Can't really think of that much better, anything better to do. Okay, so now he's down to just 2 hit points, but then I'll have to kill him all over again. But he should lose that that Vanquish ability, I think, once that happens. Now the nice thing is if I have everybody else, if I have, like, for example, this guy block, anybody that attacks him should die. Right. Oh, but then that brings these other little guys out here. But that's okay, because anything I block with from this point, everybody should die. So we should see a lot of bats dying. We'll just try to knock the bats down a little bit, because he's still got 5 resources too, so he's going to get to do a lot. And I still have to decide. Okay, so I'm going to bring Aragorn back, because I have an extra resource here, and I'll still be able to get Gandalf back. So I'm going to put him on guard. That should take care of one of these guys.
We do not escape the shadows of these times.
Ha! That's funny. So if I vanquished...
Fought through the onslaught of the creatures of Mirkwood, you and your companions have returned to the comfort of Bjorn's Hall. Though you survived your ordeal, Bilbo remains missing. The time has come to gather a fellowship and re-enter the forest to rescue the old hobbit. This concludes the Prelude campaign. Armed with a good understanding of gameplay, you can now quest forth across Middle-earth in confidence. If you remain unsure about anything, worry not. You can replay any of the individual tutorial quests at any time to refresh your memory. We encourage you to replay this or future quests with different fellowships and card deck combinations. With practice comes skill and additional rewards, which you may use to unlock new cards or cosmetic items such as card backs, avatars, or player frames. Go forth and farewell.
So I just realized what I was wrong about was not that the bat dies and then comes back with full health. It's if he vanquishes someone. So he would have to have killed one of my allies, which he could have done. Once he unexhausted, he could have used his move to kill someone, and then that would have brought him back to full health. So it's like he was a vampire bat, would drink and gain all of his energy back. But because I was able to kill him before he could do that, that won the quest. So it wasn't a defeat ability, it was a vanquish ability, which was he has to kill someone for that ability to trigger. So pretty cool tutorial. I like that it takes you through everything, even including building the decks. That was a cool little tutorial. That it was, and I like that it was kind of an interlude after they taught you most of the game, and then the last quest is kind of, hey, use everything you learned. So I got a cool quest award. I think probably if I replayed it, I wouldn't get as much of an award. But I do get some reward even for completing the tutorial. Ooh, and I also get Bilbo's cloak as a completion bonus. 2 copies of that for my vault. Ah, there's challenges for each quest. If I would have played 10 allies, use glowing to remove one shadow attachment. Okay, so I got to try to do those two things, and I'll get the final two quest challenges. That's cool that they have little achievements for each quest. Gain 500 for each hero for the first time completing. All right. Well, that's definitely cool. A cool ending. I will have to try to play through Prelude 5 again at some point. Oh, now I can pick a different difficulty. So it must be the first time you play through it, you have to play a narrative, and now I have the option of choosing different challenging levels if I want, different challenge levels. But I do want to go back and play through and choose the other option where there was a fork in the road, see what the other ending was like. Instead of having to fight a giant bat, I wonder if I'll fight something else. We'll check that out. And then I think the plan is to play through Shadow's Reach again to see what maybe has changed since the last time I played. It'll be kind of cool to check that out. I know they've made some changes to the original campaign, so we'll check that out. And then I should be able to get back to the Shadows Fall, the new quest, the new campaign that I haven't seen yet. But we are back again on Saturday. If you're interested, we'll be checking out some cool new, the last little bit of our pandemic legacy quest. I think we might be on December or second half of November, one of those two. But it's pretty exciting. We'll be wrapping that up very soon. It'll be really exciting. But I will be back here at my regular time next Tuesday, continuing this look at Lord of the Rings Living Card Game Online. And hopefully we'll get Jofos back on here. We'll continue playing through our co-op game as well, which will be pretty exciting. But until then, don't forget I will be in the next couple of days getting the VODs on YouTube. So if you want to check those out, make sure and keep checking YouTube channel, and they'll be on there very soon. I gotten behind, but I should be able to catch up now pretty easily. So I'm on a nice long vacation. So until then, I'll see you guys next week, or hopefully Saturday on Table Flipping Games on DeFebwar's channel. Till then, see you later.